In this episode of Deep Six. For the next minute, you age 1 year per round. So every 6 seconds for the next minute. So you age 10 years.
Oh my god.
Close my eyes, wonder where I go when I die. Underneath the surface I hear voices just keep on pushing me down, trying to get to heaven, but it's all hell. And every day I wake up I still wonder if I'm dead or alive. 6 feet deep, deep six, sitting in the middle of heaven and hell. Undercover, underground.
All right, Ruby. So you just approach this cart and you reach out to grab the apple. Something or someone grabs your arm and pulls you directly through. What would your initial reaction be?
Ew. Stinky. I
Okay.
would scream.
Yeah, so your face and body, torso kind of go into this apple cart, and there is that kind of squish that you would expect from being pulled into this disgusting apple barrel. But then as you kind of come through, you're met face to face with Onyx in this kind of wild grin as he's pulling you in, and both of you just kind of screaming in the moment. He pulls you in and kind of sets you down kind of aggressively on this chair. Mac is sitting next to you on another stool looking rather perturbed, and he's just kind of chuckling to himself, and he sits back. You can see it's like you're in a room, I guess, a very, very short room. If anything, it is wooden floor, and behind Onyx, where he's sitting on a little kind of milking stool type seat as well, you see a smaller, more compact version of the orchestra pit that you saw earlier. So you see the little mirror there and the vision of the courtyard, and you realize that he's been watching you this entire time. And he kind of sits back as he's chuckling to himself, and he's rolling what looks to be a bit of sweet leaf cigarette, and he pulls out a match and lights it, and is kind of filling the place with smoke. And he just kind of leans back on the console there, and he's just looking rather pleased with himself, and he says, "Hey, you didn't think I'd let you have all the fun, did you?"
Well, that explains the smell, Mac.
I can this guy so much.
Yeah.
So when you say that about the smell, he kind of gives himself a bit of a whiff. He's like, "Yeah, sorry about that." He's like, kind of making himself comfortable as he's puffing on his cigarette, and there's little bits of ashes everywhere, and some half-eaten food, and coffee mugs and things like that. Well, what did you find out?
Do you want to go first, Matt?
Sure. Spoke to some children on Ruby's request. Sorry, first of all, are you spying on us? Are you working with us? Like, what's going on? Sorry, I don't know what is going on here, man.
Spying. It's just such a rude word, really. I meant to be looking out for you. So that's what I'm doing. I'm here looking out. And he gestures towards the machine. So what do the kiddies have to say?
Well, to be fair, not a lot. They are kids. But one interesting thing that they talked about was the Shadow Man. Have you heard of that?
Shadow Man. And he turns around and kind of goes and starts messing with some of the keyboard or the different levers and buttons on the machine. He's looking at the scroll. He says, "No, nothing about Shadow Man. Of course, this Wainwright character doesn't look to be anyone that would be running an orphanage, now does he?"
Something a couple of the kids say. I mean, like, you look at those kids, they're not being looked after at all. And some of the things that the kids came out with were really strange things for kids to say. Like, one of them talked about someone watching or potentially being there when they went to the bathroom. And then
That's
there was-
dodgy.
yeah, it's horrible. And he was the one who saw this shadow man. And then there was another girl who talked about another boy who she said was adopted, but all sounds like it happened very suddenly and no one knows about it. It just gives me the idea that I don't think this child was adopted. In your little file there, you don't have anything about a missing soul called Billy, do you?
No names here. But I'll tell you, it wouldn't surprise someone goes missing from that place. This Wainwright looks to be taking these kids and the city for a ride. There's no way all that money he's got's going to these kids.
Spoke to Wainwright and used my lovely brooch.
I bet you did.
I did. And I have an invite for us to go to an important event tonight. So we could go and suss him out a bit more.
That's sweet. You two have a date for the gala. What else? What else you noticed about this place?
He was acting very shifty. He was, very superficially charming and smiling and saying that everything's for the kids. But the way he said it, I didn't believe it. And I could see that the kids weren't, well looked after. So whatever money he's making, very little of it is going on those children.
He kind of goes back to the mirror and makes a few adjustments, and you can see now it seems to be playing back the events of the last 20, 30 minutes or so. And you can see him kind of zooming in on the housekeeper, which is going into the mansion there. He says, now, where's she going?
I saw her earlier going in. She didn't seem to want anybody to see her going into the mansion, and she was looking around for sure to see if anybody had noticed her.
Suspicious for a cleaner, but I suppose everybody's a bit on edge with, what with the bodies dropping. I don't know.
So what do we do now, Onyx? How can we get out of here, go get ready, go back to this event, and get more information?
Well, the event's tonight. Is there anything else you want to do? Take a look at while you're here.
I guess, do you know anything about who the body was?
I can get close enough to see who it was. They were already taking him away when I got here. Suppose they might know. And he points at the guards on the screen.
We still haven't spoken to the guard.
Or maybe they're watching. And he points at the fountain, which is in the center of the courtyard. It looks to be on one side. There are two figures. One side appears to be an angelic humanoid female, large wings outspread, which you know to be one of the main symbols of the Dawnshore Embassy. While on the other side, you see a male figure, which seems to be, again, wings outspread, but the wings on the back side of this statue seem to be more of a kind of a bat's wings, like more shaped to be that of either draconic or possibly, more skin and claw really than wings. But he's got kind of a devilish looking facial features or mask that he's wearing with prominent horns as well. So you get this kind of light versus dark statue. You see this kind of thing, on your travel over this whole dark v light, in terms of the city's artwork and structures, it is a motif that is repeated quite often, but this is a prominent statue above this fountain.
Are you trying to tell us that those statues, are they like, I don't know, like, are they like this setup, or are they like a spying station like you've got here?
Well, the apple cart? No, I doubt it. This is some shit that Alice come up with. That's probably just a fucking statue. I don't know.
Are these statues sentient? Can they speak to us?
I don't know. You come here to investigate. Fucking go investigate.
You can.
We've got, okay. Do you know what? I want to find out maybe a little bit more about this person's died, just in case there's anything important that we should know about before the wall. So I can't stand to be around you any longer. I'll go speak to the guards. How do I get out of here?
Right, suits me. Back the way you came, and there is looks to be just like a door with a handle at the far end.
Are you coming, Ruby?
Don't take too long. We got to get ready for this ball.
I'll meet through the door. Can't just get out.
Right, so as you exit the door, again, you get that kind of sound and smell and sensation of moving through rotten fruit and vegetables, and then you just kind of pop out clean on the other side. But as you do, there's like a billow of smoke, which kind of follows you, and just the smell of sweet leaf and tobacco, which you feel will probably now always remind you of Onyx.
As we make our way over to the guards, I'm going to I do feel a lot about that. What do you make of all of this? Of dying and then being woken up and chosen?
Honestly, I'm trying not to think about it. I'm still sad, and I'm just trying not to think about taking it a day at a time. How about you, Mac?
I don't mind it. I feel like I'm being used. I don't trust any of these people. Look out for yourself, okay? And then I'm going to head down towards the guards.
Okay. Are you both going together, or are you going somewhere else?
You want to take the guards, and I'll take the statues?
Sure. Yeah. You can go and have a look.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, so you head over towards the fountain, and you head towards the guards themselves. When you approach the two guards, they're both standing near where the chalk outline is, and they seem to be just kind of chatting with each other. Two young city watch. Now, the city watch is not directly under the charge of any of the main factions. They do not work for the Dawn Shore. They do not work for the Umbral Consulate, and they don't even work for the Arbiter's Court. So the court system, also operates as a faction. The City Watch is its own under right there, put just like you would have in any city. They're just a general watch, local policing force. So they don't carry, they're not guards in the terms of, they don't carry any blades or weapons. They're not wearing any armor. That's just standard clothing that would signify that they are a member of the watch. They do each carry kind of a nightstick or a club, and one of them has a big silver whistle around his neck. But again, they seem to be doing their best at maybe something which is a bit above their abilities. So they've stayed behind. They're kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's to make sure that they've done everything that they need to do in terms of recording what's happened.
What's happened here?
They seem a bit startled when you come up, and one of them kind of steps out in front of the other and puts his hands on his hips, and he's just like, "This is a crime scene. Nothing to see here, sir. Just move on." And he's kind of looking up at you. This is 7 foot tall Goliath in robes.
It's not another dead body, is it?
Now, who told you that? And he's looking really suspicious at you in general. And the other one kind of moves his hand towards his nightstick, and he's like, "Yeah, who told you there was a body?"
And then point to the chalk outline of the body. Is that still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I point to the chalk outline of the body and say, so that the outline is not a person? They
both kind of look back over and they're like, "So what it is?"
Sorry, you're two fine, upstanding gentlemen are obviously doing a brilliant job. I'm simply just a concerned citizen. I've got friends here, people who've come to the courtyard that I've not heard from. Just wanting to make sure no one that I know.
Okay, make a persuasion check.
Natural 20.
At 20. So the other officer, not the one who's been speaking so far, but the other one steps up. He says, "Well, we don't really know his name, but unless you're part of the Thieves Guilds or something, you probably wouldn't know this one." And the other one kind of elbows him really quick when he says that.
Thieves Guilds?
Now you've done it. Keep your fucking mouth shut, will you?
No, I'm sorry. I said to the one who kind of left and said, "I'm so sorry. I didn't want to get you in trouble, but how did you know he was Thieves Guild?"
"Well, from the tattoo." And the other one elbows him again. He was like, "God, you're going to tell him everything."
Tattoo, kind of gestured to some of the tattoos that adorn kind of Mac's body. "Nothing like this. You don't suspect me of being a member, do you?"
And he kind of looks you over and he's like, No. This was very, very specific. Had a tattoo of an eye." And the other one kind of looks at him and is like, "It's not a tattoo of an eye. It's a sun." And just kind of go back and forth for a minute. He was like, "It's not a sun. A sun is round, and this one's more of like a lemon." He's like, "What do you mean like a lemon? It's not a lemon at all. It's clearly a sun. These are rays coming out." He's like, no, those are eyelashes. They just kind of bicker back and forth to each other, almost forgetting that you're there. And they've each got a notebook, and both of them have clearly drawn. You realize now that the conversation that they were having is over the discrepancies that they have each taken with the notes concerning the crime, that they can't seem to agree on a few of the particulars.
So you said this was a younger guy, right?
He's like, "Well, didn't say. No, not as young as me." And he just kind of fixes himself.
And you know, he also told me like human as well, yes? Not Goliath like me.
You mean, is he a 7-foot tall tattooed monk? No, I don't think so.
Okay. But nothing, he's not usual like that.
No pointy ears.
What about you? There's no green skin, he's not some kind of orc or something, is he?
Right. Who did you say you were again? Can I take your name?
Yes, of course you can. Oliver.
Oliver, roll a deception check.
Natural 20.
Right. Oliver what?
Oliver Stonewell.
Okay, Stonewell. And what's your business in the area, Mr. Stonewell?
Well, like I said, I'm just a concerned citizen. I'm a monk from a kind of semi-religious order, and, you know, just like to keep up to date with things going on.
Oh, you're one of them types just around knocking on doors, asking for money.
Yeah. Would you like to take a minute to talk about my friend?
No.
I'm sure I can bother you for 5 more minutes just to talk about some...
No. We're really busy here. We've got to get back. You know, lots of work to be done for the watch. You know.
Okay. Well, if that's all the time you have, and you don't want to chat to me anymore, then I'll be on my way. I'll see it there and then just walk on.
Have a good day, Mr. Stonewell.
And see you.
So they kind of go back to bickering. You went to examine the fountain, correct?
It is.
All right. Make a perception check for me. Didn't have to be very high. As you approach the fountain, it has been here for quite some time. It looks like maybe it was made of copper, which is now turned kind of greenish, cakey. It's definitely been left without a polish for quite some time. So much so that the fountain itself seems to be rusted. The works of it seem to be rusted. And it looks like there hasn't been water running through it in quite some time. There's a little bit of water in the catchment area underneath in the actual well part of the fountain. But it looks to be more like gathered rainwater than it does to be anything that's been pumped through this. It doesn't even cover the entirety of the basin, which is there. And in one of the portions of the basin, you do see what looks to be a large kind of manhole-sized drain there underneath the statue. There's a couple of odd coins and stuff, bits of rubbish people have chucked in, an old tin can, that kind of thing.
Is there any rubbish that would be useful or interesting to me?
I'll make an investigation check.
5.
Yeah, no, so it just looks like, it's the kind of thing that people might chuck stuff in on their way past. Nobody's really, doesn't look like the city's doing much upkeep or repair for this fountain. It does kind of add, the greenish hue of its own kind of breakdown, does kind of add a little something to the image of the statue. It does look to be rather ancient, or that maybe it's been here for quite some time. But other than that, and other than the rusty grate, you can hear a little bit of trickling water kind of making its way down through the grate, but maybe just the last little bit of rainwater slowly making its way down into this.
So maybe I'll go over to the cover and open it.
Okay, so you reach down and make a strength check for me. Okay, so as you go and try to pull this manhole cover open, it doesn't budge, not even a little bit. So you just kind of hit, and you got nothing. It's not moving. You can now see further down into it, and you can see where the light of day is passing over your shoulder and down into the grate. You can see that there is kind of a trickle of water underneath the sewer system or some sort of drainage.
Ask Mac when he comes over if he can open it. But for now, I'll go over and have a look at the statue and test that.
Yeah, you're standing underneath it, essentially standing in the fountain. I mean, you can see everything about it. There's nothing more than what you were already able to glean.
Guess I'm gonna have to get Mac to come help me because I have no strength stuff at all. Okay. Does it look like Matt stopped speaking to the guards yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he heading over?
I mean, he's basically standing right next to you. I mean, he's standing at the fountain and you're standing in it.
I just didn't want to shout, Mac! And then be like,
you can come over. Yeah.
Can you help me? Can you open this for me?
Okay. You need your extra man to open it for you. Again, trying to make sure that he's very aware that he's a big guy and maybe not to draw attention to himself, but he will bend down and try and open up the bag.
Roll strength check.
Sorry, I just kind of pulled something there on that one.
Try again.
What was the roll? Doesn't budge.
Do you have any spells or anything that could help here?
There's one thing that I could do. It would make it easier for me to do this, but it's definitely not design my place to do the thing that I need to do to have a go. I can maybe have another go and see.
We can try it together. Can we do that?
Yep. So, because you both have already tried once,
Yeah.
I'll let one of you try again, and the other one can assist. So, who's going to be making the try?
I'll probably try.
All right. So Mac, you try to open, and Ruby, you can either try to assist with strength roll as well, or you could try and inspire him in some way, or I would even allow your skull die to be contributed towards someone else's roll. You would still be using one of your rolls, but it would go to bending fate towards this.
Oh, you're not a bard.
A what?
A bard. It's really not a bard.
A bird?
A bard.
Oh,
E-E-R-D.
E-E-R.
Yeah. You're not,
11.
you're not a bard. Do you not have, like, inspiration that you can potentially give Matt?
Maybe. I haven't written it down. I'll have to go into the app.
Yes, you're a bard.
I am a bard.
Yeah, so Bardic Inspiration. As a bonus action, you can inspire another creature within 60 feet that can see or hear you. The creature gains one of your Bardic Inspiration die, or a d6. Once within the next hour, when the creature fails a d20 test, they can roll the inspiration die and add the number rolled to the total, potentially turning the failure into a success. You can confer your Bardic Inspiration die 2 times per long rest. Yeah, so essentially twice per long rest, you could give someone a d6 and they can add that to their roll, just like you would with the
I'm basically a muse princess.
Basically. So, are you going to inspire me this time?
Yes, I'll inspire you this time.
How do you inspire, Matt?
Yeah, tell me a bit about Mac's turn-ons and turn-offs, for want of a better word.
Do you know what? One of Mac's biggest
Clink.
turn-offs is talking about his turn-ons. So, you got that down.
so you've actually
You've de-inspired.
you have reverse inspired.
No, that's fine, because this inspiration of Ruby trying to be like, Mac, what's your turn-ons? Like, all this kind of chat is just fueling Mac to get this great open. So I'm going to, like, go for it, like, a little bit of rage, just like, I just want this bunny to shut up. That's great inspiration, yeah.
All right, so make your strength check with inspiration.
So that's a 17. I've got it, so I'll just use the inspiration. Yeah, 23.
With the inspiration, you reach down and with both hands, you can barely even get your hands in the bars of this grate. It is more of a human size, like you not even really sure if you would fit, or even if anyone is meant to. And as you reach down and grab a hold of this grate, you hear the metal begin to kind of groan as he's pulling against it, and then it kind of breaks free some of the grime and filth that has been filling this thing for quite a long time. And it is hinged on the inside, and it does open what you would assume is some sort of sewage or drainage system beneath the streets.
Down you go then.
Would I fit in there?
I mean, you would definitely fit in the manhole. There doesn't seem to be any sort of ladder or anything. You can see that there's water below. I reckon probably maybe 10 or 15 foot drop.
Do you think you could lower me down?
I'm sure I could reach in and lower you out. No, it's like wingspan feet.
5 feet. So that would leave me 10 feet.
Yeah, so I tell you this, with Mac's assistance, you would have to make, either way, you're going to have to make a dexterity roll, okay, to try and do that. But with Mac's assistance, it would significantly lessen the roll that you would need to make.
Yeah. Why don't answer? Is it maybe a good point? Just like we can't see down into this, I try and illuminate it a little bit first, just to see if it's actually something that you want to go down into. rather than just me dropping you into a random sewerway.
That sounds
Because
sick.
also, once I drop you down, I'm a little bit concerned about how I get you back out.
Impulsive Ruby. Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, it's great, but a little bit of thinking. I'm assuming there's going to be some stone or something I can pick up from the fountain.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
Cast.
rubbish. A couple of old coins and stuff.
Yeah, I'll cast light on just a bit of rubbish and then toss it down into the sewer, just so that it kind of illuminates the area that Ruby would be potentially going into, just to see if we can actually see is there
Okay.
anything down here.
So you actually find like a bit of the stonework has broken away from the inside of this fountain. So that's what you find. Just, roughly a palm-sized stone, which is broken off of this, and so you cast light on it. And are you just chucking it down, or are you giving it to her?
I think probably just chuck it. That should still hopefully like illuminate whatever's going on there. It'll also give you a bit more of an idea about how far you're actually dropping as well.
All right. Again, like you can see the surface of the water, and you just kind of watch as it, bloop, just kind of lands in. Now there's this glowing source from underneath, and now you can see there's kind of a greenish brown tinge to this water which is flowing underneath, but it does kind of illuminate the area a little bit more as well, and you can see that it does seem to be flowing east to west.
Fountain is. I was just having to think about like what the kids said about where the shadow man jumps up from. I don't think he'd jump out this particular grate, just to see if it's obvious if there's any, to have a look down and see if there's any kind of tunnels that maybe lead towards the orphanage or
Right.
ball. And
So east to west would be west moving towards the mansion,
Yeah.
and east towards the ballroom. You don't see, at this particular junction, you don't see it directly heading towards the orphanage, which would be north, and nothing going south either. It seems to be left or right.
And the water in there is very much like the river Styx. There's no lighting.
No, it just smells like piss and shit.
I'm gonna have to go down there, I think.
Okay, that's on you. I can come down with you at least from this vantage point.
If you give me a boost, I will go down
Okay.
and I'll find something. I'll find a way to get back up to you.
Fine. Okay. I don't know if the Bloody Dolphin's any trouble. But maybe that's safe.
I will, bestie.
Okay. If you want to go down, I'll stand over the man as she kind of goes further in. I'll then just kind of lie on the ground and just kind of outstretched to, lessen the drop that she'll have to take.
Yeah. So where you guys are actually doing this is on the opposite side of this statue base. So you are obscured from the two officers, which are on the other side, which is lucky because they might
Didn't think that.
they might have something to say about two randomers, going underneath the streets. But they didn't seem to notice you opening the grate, and they don't seem to be bothered. They're still having their own argument to themselves. So you're lowering Ruby down into the manhole. Ruby, I need you to make a dexterity check for me. Okay. So with that, you're able to, he kind of lowers you down part way, and then you're able to swing a little bit off of his grip and land to either side of the actual flowing part of this, what is fairly clearly now a sewer. And as you land, it's a bit slippy and grimy underneath your feet, but you do manage to keep your feet.
No piss and shit for me.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of it around you, but just no, not currently. You are not submerged in it. What you can see from your perspective is obviously the light, which is still illuminating from the water itself and illuminating that kind of particular area. And just as we mentioned before, you can see that the tunnel carries on west and east.
I want to ask Mac to chuck me down another shiny rock.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, so you take another rock,
I can take another rock, cast light, and then just
pass it down to
pass
her.
it down.
For a minute there, I thought you were going to reach and get the other one.
I'm not going in for that one.
No.
Okay, so now I've got my shiny rock. I'm going to head west, I think,
Okay, towards the mansion.
towards the mansion.
Okay. All right. So you start heading west, and what are you going to do?
I think if I know that Ruby is heading west, what I'll do is see if I can just kind of walk west with her, like towards the mansion, just to see if there's any more manhole covers or like little crates or anything that like rainwater might go into,
Mhm.
just to see if I can almost like track Ruby's progress through the sewer.
Okay. All right. So as you're heading west and you're kind of walking above her, essentially on that same line, you don't see any additional access points or anything like that, or even anything to really indicate where that line would be. So you're just assuming at this point that it carries on straight in that direction. As Ruby's walking, just seems to be more and more of the same. There are a couple of little pipes and drains and things which seem to be feeding into this, but nothing large enough for, they're kind of arm size, look like maybe they extend from, different drainage works or things. Occasionally there's looks like an access valve or something, that with the proper tools, you might be able to open up one of these small pipes, but it probably just releases more of something off at some point. And there are the occasional light sources as well. It looks like more of these kind of arcane torches, like what you saw in the footlights. They just kind of they're not exceedingly bright, but they do stay lit somewhat for maintenance purposes down here. There is a lot of stuff down here other than what you would expect to find in a sewer. Maybe things have washed in. There are a couple of planks and boards, as well as old bits of clothing cast about in the place. Nothing really stands out, but it is not well kept. You would fancy nobody's done maintenance in this area for quite some time. As you approach the mansion itself, as you approach the gate just before the stairs leading up, you hear different servants and things kind of working around the house. There is what looks to be the courtyard itself. Again, it's not so much a courtyard as just a path up to the front door, and then paths leading around the back of the house as well. A lot of the shrubbery and things are overgrown. There are some gardener's tools about, but they look like they've been left there for a long time. They're all rusted and are propped over. The gate has been closed over, but it is ajar. It's not locked. It's just kind of sat from where Wainwright left out earlier. He didn't close it properly behind.
I am just going to have a quick glance around, and then I'm just going to kind of chat on the Bluetooth just to see if Ruby can hear me and where she is at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, you guys can hear each other fine.
Okay.
Cool. I'll just remember. So that's me now just outside the gates of the mansion. Have you gone anywhere else? Like, what can you see?
Yeah. So I haven't noticed anything. So if you're outside the gates of the mansion and you've tracked me, that means I'm pretty much there as well. Is there anything that would lead into the mansion from what I can see?
Okay. So you reach a point in the sewer system, and there is what looks to be two other tunnels which kind of break off for this one. One kind of going northwest and then one going southwest. So you would expect the mansion is here in front of you. Nothing's going to the mansion itself. One may be to the left or right of it. So maybe they circle around. You're not sure.
Okay. Do I really want to
I'm a little concerned you'll get lost down there.
I'm a little concerned I'll get lost now. I don't know what to do. I feel like I've come down here for nothing. Maybe I'll go in the other direction then. How about I go back and I start going east and just see if there's anything that's gonna stand out east towards the crystal.
Okay. All right. So you go east. Are you following along above, or are you staying? Okay. All right. So as you pass the guards, it's like the guards kind of eyes Mr. Stonewell.
I'll just give them another nod.
And they just kind of go back to their conversation. And you reach roughly where you expect to be underneath the ballroom. And the tunnel opens up into a wider, more cavernous room. And the sound of rushing water, or at least falling water, increases as the flow beneath the city begins to fall off this kind of precipice into this room. It opens up into a large, round well or cistern with kind of some wooden catwalk around to the other side, where there looks to be not an access point, but rather maybe a place for a bit of storage, or some additional pipe work is being put there, you assume, for the building above. And there's a bit of the catwalk which hangs out over this precipice. And you see on the end of that catwalk, it looks to be some kind of piles of cloth. The ceiling in here also is rather high, and you can hear instruments. You can hear the tuning of instruments as if people are getting ready for this evening's gala, maybe some sort of entertainment there. But it does echo through this chamber. It's quite nice.
Okay. And just sort
Other than the occasional floater, which keeps rolling over the side into the cistern.
Jobby party. I'm just remembering what the children said about the Shadow Man coming up into the toilets, and I'm wondering if I missed something between the mansion and where I am now, and it's starting to dawn on Ruby, wait a second, if you can come down here all the way to the mansion, maybe there's another access point into the orphanage. But I want to have a look around here first and get some information.
Okay. Are you looking for something specific, or are you just looking for in general?
I want to find out what these bits of material are.
The cloth?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as you begin making your way around the kind of wooden catwalk, it is very creaky and very old and waterlogged. Not like there is no guardrail. You know, this is not this is not a place which has been designed for pedestrian travel, right? So as you take a step on there, you'll realize that it's going to take a little bit of maneuvering to get around to the other side. Mm-hmm. Okay. So above table, you're going to have to make a check of some kind to keep moving forward.
Dexterity?
Yeah. Make a dexterity check to see 15. Yeah. So the boards roughly stay intact. They do bend and groan beneath your feet, and they almost squelch a little bit, like they're kind of waterlogged from being down here for so long. And there's moss growing up the sides and everything. As you're walking along this catwalk, you are able to peer down, and it is a long drop below. You cannot see. You do hear water splashing, but you cannot see the bottom of this cistern. But you do make your way around to the bit of catwalk which is hanging over. And as you're examining the cloth that is there, make an investigation check. Yeah, it just looks to be some piles of burlap and, maybe, textile fabrics, like this is something that's been down there. Amidst that, with a 4, you wouldn't eat much, but a 4 is not going to get it to you.
Can I use a skill dice?
Sure.
5.
Okay, so that's one use of your die. And you will add the 5 to it, so that brings you up to a 9. I feel like I'm making sales and purchases here. So with a 9, as you're kind of digging through this bedding, it is dry, which is surprising to you, and you realize that there's kind of a warmth or a heat coming up from this cistern, and where you're sitting on this platform is, a significantly higher temperature than the rest of this cavernous room, almost like a steamy sauna feeling. It's still kind of clammy and gross. But in this pile of fabrics, you see what looks to be bed linens, would have at one time been rather nice bed linens, as well as some small wooden toys, a doll or a clown next to a small rocking horse that a child might play with, as well as a couple of other, just random bits of things. It looks to be like an old crystalline doorknob, and then maybe a half-used spool of string and a couple of different, chunky items like that, but that maybe somebody has gathered here because they liked them. I mean, looking around the room, again, just on ordinary perception, now having seen this potential bedding, you're looking around, and some of those old crates and things which you notice coming in over next to the pipework are set up in a way that someone might use them as a seat. Next to one of the crates, you do spot looks to be kind of a chipped and discarded plate, which has been sat down there. Now that could be, some city workers' lunch from long ago was sat there, but you do see the kind of chipped plate and what looks to be a very dented, tin cup or something sat next to it. So it's possible that someone was spending time down here.
Given the rocking horse, it does seem like the kind of thing a child you'd store, rather.
Potentially.
Okay, so I found that. I'm going to tell Mac what I found. Is there anything else I'm aware of in that room that might help me out a little bit?
Nothing that your previous check wouldn't have covered.
Okay, I'm going to go back west a little bit then. I'm going to try and see where somebody might get access into the orphanage.
Okay. So, Mac, while she was checking out this room and I'm assuming relaying that information back to Matt, it puts you outside near the stairs leading up to the gala, and you can see around the side of one of the buildings there are people there, caterers and different people moving things in and out of the building. You can see these, someone has been paid to come in and perform these services. So you get a good look at the catering service moving things in and out from their wagons, and you see different members of maybe an orchestra or a band moving in and begin to tune instruments, as well as different decorators and stuff moving around. So you hear someone from the inside, oh, don't put it there, move it over here. This is, this should be a grand entrance. This should be something where people feel welcome to come and bring and donate their money. And then she begins speaking to Wainwright. You can see on the far side of the room. The door is kind of standing wide open at the moment. The gala is not open. Someone just forgot to close it while they're bringing in, the caterers are bringing in their kind of trays and tables and things.
I'm just... what I might do is to where the caterers and stuff are kind of coming in, just to see if there's like any kind of like side entrances or anything that I can scope out, just if they maybe going like direct to a kitchen or something.
Yeah. So the main stairwell, which kind of goes up to the gala floor, underneath that you get the feeling that the gala floor is actually the second level of this building, that underneath would be where the kitchens and things were, and where the staff would be working. You can't really tell from outside on the street, but you would think that there would be stairs and things. Obviously they're not coming out to bring things up to the guests, so there must be some sort of access which at least leads up. You don't, however, see anything which would lead down, and nor did you see anything leading down into the area beneath the gala. There are pipes and things leading down from it, but there's no access that you can see.
Not what I was expecting. I'm okay. I have 5 feet to try and jump so that I can get to your hand again. How am I going to do this? There were some...
Okay, so I believe you, as a Harrigan, you have an advantage to jump. You can use it 3 times within a long rest. So if you wanted to do that, you could probably clear it.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, jump up and pull myself up. You might still need to pull me up because I'm not very strong at all. But yeah.
Yep. So you just jump straight up out.
Pluck you out.
Back of the neck.
Okay, so you're both back in the fountain. The guardsmen now have left. They took their evidence box with them, and you did not get to see what was in that.
I spoke to tell you about the man whose chocolate thing that he was, and that he was a member of the Thieves Guild.
Okay, Thieves Guild. What do we know?
You personally don't have any information about the Thieves Guild.
But it's maybe something... maybe something to keep in the back pocket for later, just so we know. I know these types of organisations, usually if someone goes missing, they don't tend to just let that lie, though. So.
Yeah, and maybe Alice or somebody else might have some information on the Thieves Guild, and we have a ball to go to, so we should really probably unstink ourselves if we can.
Yeah, you smell awful.
You don't smell great either, but at least you don't smell like piss and shit. Probably better than me.
All right, yeah. So it is kind of getting mid-afternoon at this point. What are you guys doing?
So do we want to head back then to the theatre? And then, because they've got like a costume department, we could maybe spruce ourselves up, make ourselves look a little bit better.
So you take the canals back again and make your way back to the Gilded Mast through the side entrance, and you are met again by Alice. You still don't see any sign of Nemesia or Stenny, nor do you see Onyx. Alice is there in her workshop, and you guys are getting ready for the evening. What would you like to do? You have the gear still laid out on the table there that she showed you earlier, and you have the usage of the orchestra pit, and Alice is there as well.
You to speak to Alice about what was it, the Order of Thieves or the
The Thieves Guild.
the Thieves Guild. I smell of piss and shit. I have to get showered. Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah, that's fine. You go on ahead. You're fine.
Thank you, man.
Okay. All right. So you're off. There is a small water closet at the end of the hallway there. And, there is a latrine and a rudimentary but functional shower and just sort of a curtain that goes around it. And as you approach Alice's workshop, she's just in there, looks to be tinkering under some things. Some larger bits of machinery as well in there that she seems to be maintaining. It's not all delicate, bits of kit. She seems to be maintaining other more mechanical items as well. Some you recognize, some you don't.
So, and Alice, I've got a few questions about what's going on, if that's okay. Some pertain to the mission that we're on, and others maybe don't, but something you might be able to help with.
Sure. I've got a few minutes. What can I do for you?
So we think that one of the most recent bodies involved that's gone missing is a member of the Thieves Guild.
Which one?
Well, from what I could discern, the symbol for this guild is either an eye or the sun. Does that strike familiar for either of any of the guilds that you know about?
A sun. I mean, the Dawn Shore Embassy uses the symbol of the sun, but they're not really a thieves guild. Where did you get this symbol from?
It was to City Watch members who described this man as having a tattoo of either an
tattoo. The tattoos don't really sound like Dawn Shore. I mean, there are a couple of different groups that have these kind of tattoos. There are many different offshoots of these thieves guild, and they all kind of use their own symbols. So it's possible that I'm just not familiar with these offhand, but you could probably feed it to the orchestra pit, and you might be able to find out some information there, though it'd probably take some time for a return. Leave it with me, and I'll see what I can do. So she kind of sketches out what you guys discussed in her notes, and she says that she'll check it.
The last question is just something more that I'm interested in. You said that time works differently here. What did you mean by that?
I don't know that I did I? But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but it seems to be, what season would you say it was outside?
I mean, I guess I can really point it to being a season. It's not.
Exactly. It's not summer, it's not winter, it's not spring, and it's not fall. It's just kind of gray all the time. Funny. Don't you think? She kind of goes back to what she's doing. She's still listening. She's just working.
I'll be honest, I don't like that. I think for me, time is something that we can track and keep an eye on. You're saying that there's no way to track time here?
No, I don't think I've ever tried. Been a bit too busy. And she's kind of looking around at all the stuff she's got.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's maybe something for me to think about. Thanks. Oh, another quick question. So in that kit, there's a ladybird or a ladybug. What does that do? I forgot to ask before we left.
She goes over to you and takes it from you. And as she opens this kind of crystalline box, the ladybird just kind of flutters its wings a little bit. And so it is essentially alive, or seems to be powered. It is a very, very small, at first it looks to be almost like a metallic sheen, like you might see on a beetle or something like that. But it is actually made of metal, very, very delicate bit of clockwork machinery. And she says, simply put this with your target and it will follow. And as she takes it out of the case, you hear a kind of squelch in your earpiece, and you're hearing everything echo in the room just now. So you realize that what you're hearing is from the ladybird.
So it's quite literally a bug. That's fun. Okay.
So she puts it back in the case.
So we just need to get it on our target. Perfect. Thank you very much, Alice. I think I'm going to go and get ready for this. Yeah. Thank you.
Ooh, a ball. What kind of ball?
I think Ruby said something about, charity gala or something. But from what I could see, it looks quite fancy. There's maybe musicians and...
Sounds fancy. You going to go dressed like that?
I think I'll probably change into something. I don't know, maybe something from the costume room just to see if there's anything.
Great. All right. Well, I'll be seeing you. And she just kind of goes back to her work.
Thank you, Alice. And then I'll walk out. I think as Mac's kind of walking back towards the changing room, this idea of not being able to... Obviously, we've got a rough idea of kind of timings from when we wake and we sleep, but Mac is just going to put a little score in his spellbook just to start seeing if he can begin to keep track of time and things, so he can see if he can understand it a little bit better.
Ruby is out the shower, smelling a whole lot better. She has put on some makeup, covered up the black eye she has now from getting smacked by Mac. She's going to go find a nice ball gown to wear.
Okay. So both of you wind up in the costume room. What kinds of things are you looking for?
For Mac, anything that will fit, to be fair. Anything else. I get the idea that this is going to be like quite a fancy gala, and from what Mac had seen from the brief bit of surveillance he did from outside, it sounds like it's going to be like a kind of fancy catered for events.
Okay. Just
something that's for Mac, something that's maybe that will obviously will fit, but also maybe something that's a bit loose fitting as well. I don't want to. I want it fancy, but it's movable, just in case.
I think we're thinking the same thing for something red and fancy, because I'm Ruby, so I need a nice red ball gown. But I also think I'm going to swap out my brooch and my handler's box for the infiltration box. So something that's going to go with my cloak, the boots, which hopefully you won't see too much of under my dress, nice and long, and the fire.
Okay.
So I'm going to be sneaking.
All right. So each of you spend some time kind of flipping through the racks, and, you're kind of limited. Both of you actually limited on your size, right? So only quite small things are going to be fitting you, or only larger things are going to be fitting you. Who's going to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Ruby, I need you to roll me a D20, please.
19.
19. Okay. So what you find is what looks to be some kind of a stage costume. It's really more of like a heavy robe, but it seems to be shimmering in all different colors. It's not necessarily like a dress. It is more like that of a mage's robe. Roll again.
6.
The second garment that you find that would actually fit you is a dramatic opera gown. Bold, but acceptable. It's a bit of skin, but it is very fancy.
Ruby likes a bit of skin.
Roll one last time.
Okay, if this isn't good, I'm using my skull dice for clothes. 11. I'm using my skull dice for clothes.
Okay, so
2.
Okay, so you have 18. So the last item you find is a masquerade costume, which hides more than it reveals. So it is something that you might wear to a masquerade ball. Like it is more of a costume than a dress, but it does seem to have quite a few pockets and things like that. It's not as fancy as the opera gown.
Opera gown it is.
Okay. So you've chosen the opera gown. Matt, would you like to roll? So that's 2 strikes down on your... If you roll a third one, you have to roll on the...
Consequences for cons on the train.
Yeah. Spanking for clothes.
That's a 4.
Okay. So Mac, you find a masquerade tailcoat with a tasteful half mask. Roll again.
2.
You also find a formal noble's attire with jeweled cufflinks and a silk cravat. Third one.
19.
You find a stage villain's costume, black leather, skull motifs. It's rather unsettling.
Yeah, I don't think that's the vibe we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fancy one with the jewels and all of that.
Okay.
It's that, I don't know, it's like the material that it's made of, it's not too like stiff or...
I mean, it's basically top and tails. Yeah. I mean, it's
pretty restrictive.
Yeah.
Don't like that, yeah. What was the first one? Oh, the opera.
Yeah.
Mac's going to look at all the options and be like, honestly, Ruby, like, I think what I'm wearing is probably going to be good enough.
Oh, jeez, no. I don't want to be seen with him like that. Can I use my skull dice?
No.
Damn, masquerade.
I mean, you can roll to see if you can find him something.
Yeah?
Yeah. But you have to roll just on the D6. Well, roll a D20.
Okay. 8.
But then roll the D6.
What? Something good.
So a theatrical aristocrat's costume, dramatic but passable. So middle ground.
You don't want to look too inconspicuous. You're already 7 foot tall.
But just making sure there's
All right, Ruby, you have reached 3 imbalance, so you need to immediately roll a d20. 2. Okay, so you gain an extra action immediately, which has no effect if you're not in combat. But for the next minute, you age 1 year per round. So every 6 seconds for the next minute. So you age 10 years.
Oh my god.
When the effect ends, time snaps back, but you retain the exhaustion of old age. So you now have 1 level of exhaustion. Your imbalance resets, and I'll explain exhaustion for you.
I think Ruby's going to be highly distressed at aging, especially after getting such a nice dress.
Exhaustion is measured in 6 levels. An effect can give a creature 1 or more levels of exhaustion as specified in the effect's description. So level 1, you have disadvantage on all ability checks. Okay. If you are to suffer further exhaustion, this level will go up from there. All right. The creatures suffer the effect of its current level of exhaustion as well as all lower levels. So for example, if you get another level of exhaustion, your speed is halved and you have disadvantage on all ability checks. So the more exhaustion you receive, the more penalties you have moving forward. So just remember that from now on, any checks you make will be rolled with disadvantage. So you roll twice and take the load.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So
Are you feeling okay?
I would rather have been spanked, to be honest, but it's fine.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Daggers and Drams. Thank you for spending your time with us, whether you're listening on your commute, painting minis, or rolling dice at your very own table. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, or following the podcast wherever you listen. We'd also like to give special thanks to everyone who helps to make this show possible. Your support means more than you know. If you want to keep up with us between episodes, you can find Daggers and Drams on YouTube, Instagram, and other platforms. As always, thanks for being a part of this journey with us. Until next time, pour yourself a dram, roll your dice, keep on telling great stories.
I still wonder if I'm dead or alive. 6 feet deep, deep 6, sitting in the middle of heaven and hell. And every day I wake up, I still wonder if I'm dead or alive. You know I'm